With the Muppets soaring high with the millions and millions of streams of the new Muppet Show special and the FIFA World Cup collaborations and Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster opening at Disney Hollywood Studios, there's just been so much going on with the Muppets. And meanwhile, well, to just be very frank, the new Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, has been widely branded a box office bomb after becoming the lowest grossing live-action Star Wars release in history. That's quite a stark contrast, and for the first time it feels like the Muppets are bigger than Star Wars. What's going on? And now I know a lot of you will disagree with me, but this is all to come in the video coming, so here we go. Let's talk Muppets and Star Wars. The underdogs are coming back. Yes, it's time for a bit of history about the Muppets and Star Wars. So I'm sure you've all seen the 1980 episode of The Muppet Show when they had Mark Hamill, C-3PO, R2-D2 and Chewbacca feature on the show as they've accidentally flown into the Muppet Show theatre, and it's just an incredible little it's a testament to show how big that show was at the time, that they could have these incredible guests. And obviously Mark had connections with Jim and Frank because of the work on the second Star Wars film, but it was just so cool that they actually did it. They all stayed in character throughout the whole thing, and they turned that into a joke with Mark Hamill and Luke being two different characters, and that the Muppets couldn't figure out that it was Luke in a costume, Mark in a costume. I think that was a very good episode. So there's so much history. I'm going to flash up some photos and things that happened back in the sort of 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And it even came through into merch. These two franchises have been molded together for so long. There's been amazing little things. But it's never been a secret that the Star Wars universe has always been 10 billion times larger than the Muppets. Now, obviously, there was a point where the Muppets were bigger before Star Wars was actually a thing. But it's funny because that never happened. After the Star Wars films came out, Star Wars was the biggest, the best. No franchise could beat them. Even the Muppet Show, which was the biggest television show on the planet when it was in its prime, which was basically for the last sort of 3.5 seasons. And it's just amazing that these days things are starting to change, because the regular sort of problem that we get with Disney now is they take on franchises and they don't quite know what to do with them, or they have a really good idea of what to do with them, but that idea is not wanted by anyone, including probably their own family members. I mean, some of the ideas they come up with are pretty atrocious, and Star Wars and the Muppets have both been affected by some of those decisions, especially in maybe the last 20 years for Star Wars and indeed the Muppets. But the Muppets in the last sort of, well, I'd say since COVID, since the awful Muppets Now. I'm not even apologising. That wasn't a great show. It wasn't a show. It was like little social media clips that had been strung together. But yeah, after that show, Muppets Now, I reckon the Muppets have been on a very slow, gradual incline back into where they should be. And Now I'm gonna stop all the photos of all the things that have happened over the years between these two franchises. Now we're gonna talk. So Muppets Now happened. We've all forgot about that in about 2 hours, and then we got the Muppets Mayhem, which was okay. That wasn't an okay thing. Oh, and Muppets Haunted Mansion, but as much as that was interesting, the visual effects let that thing down a lot. But anyway, we won't dwell on that. We'll forget about that one. We got Muppets Mayhem, and that really was a good way for the performers to really get into the heads of the guys and girls who played the characters originally, because they really got quite close to the original Muppet characters from the 70s essentially, and they reference all the sort of things that they got sidetracked by the 80s and all that sort of stuff. But they really did do a good job at getting back into the roots and remembering the things that made them so popular in the first place, because the Electric Mayhem has never been a huge thing in the Muppet world. Up to that point, they never had such a big thing that was just there, like that was their show, and you don't even see Kermit in that show. So yeah, that was cool. And they slowly started to remember who they were. And behind the scenes, they would have been working on the Muppet Show special for a very long time, making sure that was right. And obviously that came out earlier in the year, and it was just amazing. I mean, it was truly amazing. I've watched it so many times now. It's been a while since I've watched it at this point, I'll be honest, but when it first came out, I've watched it so many times, and it really is good. And they really, again, got to grips with what made it what it was, but putting the sort of modern twist on it. But it doesn't have to change the basic layout of the show, and that's what they understood really well. So Star Wars, on the other hand, have had a bit of a different problem. I'd say they've probably had the opposite problem. I'm not a huge Star Wars media junkie. I don't watch a lot of it. I have watched some of it, but I'm not ready to dive deep into that world. I'm more of a Lord of the Rings, Tolkien sort of person, because those stories will always be unbeatable. But Star Wars hasn't been going back to its original roots in the same way, and they have sort of seemed to be sort of giving it some Marvel treatment and just milking it until it kind of, they run out of any ideas of any storylines or anything, and that is a bit sad to see. And it is sad to see them sort of, I don't know, in the last 10, 15 years just kind of drop the things that made it what it was originally. And obviously that's not the people at Star Wars' fault. I'm sure they would love to do a good job that, would actually be worthy of the original films, but Disney and things changed it, and Muppets had that too, but luckily the Muppets are on their way back. So maybe that will happen with Star Wars, but at the moment, I think the Muppets are in a much better place than Star Wars, which, if you said to me that I could have said that like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have ever believed you, because we were in such a rubbish place with the Muppets. We'd had that Steve Whitmire firing the awful ABC series that was a really good series. It just wasn't for the Muppets, and it just wasn't right. It was a very well-made program. We had the no third movie after Muppets Most Wanted, but now look at us. We still haven't had a movie. There's still the talks of that Miss Piggy movie with Jennifer Lawrence and Emma Stone, I believe. But it's still all up for grabs, and there's so many opportunities that the Muppets do have coming, which is a surprise. So what do you think? Let me know what you think. I mean, these two franchises have been in their roots and their plans have been intertwined for so long with all the behind the scenes stuff. If you don't know the backstories between Jim Henson and George Lucas, they were actually very, very good friends. They worked on Labyrinth. George worked on Labyrinth with Jim Henson, and there's all these stories, and they sent each other cards and things like that. It's very cool actually to see two mega minds of the media, film and TV world collide. And for the first time, although George isn't as involved in Star Wars as he maybe should be or would like to be, and obviously Jim Henson is not around anymore, it looks like, although those two have both let go of their franchises, it looks like the Muppets are coming back first. So let's hope that one day Star Wars comes back in the same way, because it would be cool to see these two franchises collide one more time. Imagine if we got, I don't know, an older Harrison Ford on the Muppet Show, if the Muppet Show gets greenlit again. That would be the coolest thing ever. But anyway, that's it for now. I just thought it was a cool, interesting thing that I hadn't seen anyone talk about yet. That, in my head, I feel like these two franchises have been something that have been side by side for a very, very long time, but people just forget about it. But now it feels like the Muppets are really on top, so that's just super, super cool. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.